Welcome to Alt Protein. I'm Dr. Trevor Jackson, working on research-led innovation in food and health, health backed by science, and today we're breaking down the Nuropod, a vagus nerve stimulating device that I've been testing for the last several weeks. Now I want to be upfront at the beginning of this video that this is a sponsored review, but everything I'm going to share with you today is based on my own personal experience. I want to share with you what I liked, what I didn't like, and whether I think it's worth the price. Now, a little background on me. I'm a chiropractor and a certified chiropractic sports physician. I practice here in Mobile, Alabama, and I spend my days treating patients with pain, inflammation, and nervous system disorders. And I also deal with the burnout that comes from that workload. Chronic fatigue, difficulty sleeping, and at 2 p.m. having that crash where I'm reaching for another cup of coffee just to get through the afternoon. That is the perspective that I'm bringing to the review of this device. So what is Nuropod? Well, Nuropod is a vagus nerve stimulation wearable device made by the company called Parasym. It's a vagus nerve stimulating device that wraps over your ear and attaches to this little flap of cartilage in front of your ear canal called the tragus. Then Nuropod delivers electrical signals through this very specific anatomical access point so it can target the auricular branch of the vagus nerve. From there, those signals can be transferred along specific pathways to the brainstem. What has stood out to me is that this isn't positioned as just another generic wellness device. Parasym has developed a technology they call AV&T, which is Auricular Vagal Neuromodulation technology, using structured, repeatable stimulation parameters that were developed over a decade of research and are supported by dozens of scientific studies. And in this space of vagus nerve stimulation, precision and consistency of nerve engagement seem to matter just as much as the stimulation itself. Now the goal is to support parasympathetic nerve activity and help the body shift from a more fight or flight state to a more balanced rest and digest state. And to do this, Parasym uses their proprietary technology, that AV&T or auricular vagal neuromodulation technology, that they claim to have been studied in over 60 research studies with over 150 research partners. One important distinction from this device versus some of their neck stimulation-based competitors is the anatomical access point. Auricular stimulation targets a very specific and surface-level branch of the vagus nerve at the ear, which makes sessions much more anatomically defined, as well as the sessions repeatable and precise. Neck devices, by contrast, are working through much thicker layers of tissue, and because of that, stimulation parameters, pressure, and product placement can play a big role, a meaningful role in how well those target nerve tissues are actually being engaged. In practice, that makes the auricular approaches much more about precision and repeatable pathway engagement rather than just increasing the stimulation strength. So let me show you what's in the box. You get the Nuropod itself, which is the main control unit. You get the wired earpiece, you get a USB charger, a protective carrying case, and the quick start guide. That's it. No gel, no other accessories, no subscription. One of the things that I appreciated right away was just how simple the setup is. You charge it, plug in the earpiece, clip it on, and you're off and going. Some of the other vagus nerve stimulating devices that I looked at require things like conductive gel or Bluetooth. Some even required apps you had to download beforehand before you could even use the device. But not this one. This one was ready to go right out of the box, and once fully charged, it has lasted me for over a month on just the one charge. So once I started to use the Nuropod, I knew that if I was going to get the most out of the device, I would need to make it part of my everyday routine. So for me, I decided that I was going to do that in my afternoon charting sessions. I always block off a certain amount of time in the afternoons to get my charting done for the patients that I have seen. And so Nuropod suggests that your sessions last anywhere between 15 and 60 minutes, and I was able to average somewhere around 30 during these charting sessions. The first time I turned it on, I turned it up and I didn't feel anything. I had to get all the way up to about level 25 before I started to notice a tingling sensation at the tragus. And it was subtle, not painful, maybe a light prickly sensation is all that I would feel. But what happened next I thought was really interesting. Over that first week of using it consistently, I started to notice that I was becoming more sensitive to the sensation and the stimulation itself. And once I knew what to pay attention to, I started feeling it at lower levels, and over the duration of each session, I would become desensitized to the stimulation. And so Nuropod has a way that you can just bump it up a couple of notches. That back and forth is pretty common with electrical devices, and so Nuropod does give you 45 levels to pick and choose from, so there's plenty of wiggle room depending on your own sensitivities. So after using this device for the first few weeks, sleep was the first thing that I noticed to improve. I started falling asleep faster and staying asleep a bit longer, feeling like I was getting more rest during the night. And this wasn't an overnight change, but after reflecting over the last few weeks, I do feel like I've been sleeping better. And that is translated into how I wake up. I wake up feeling less groggy and having less fog and feeling more refreshed. Next, I want to share with you the things that I really liked about this device. Again, it's simple, it's easy to use. There's no apps, there's no Bluetooth. I can just turn it on, set my level, and I'm good to go. Like I said, I usually use it when I'm doing paperwork or charting, but I've also found times when I use it when I am commuting or reading or really doing anything relatively sedentary. And the battery life also lasts for weeks at a time on a single charge, which makes it really easy to stay consistent when I don't have to worry about whether the device is charged or not. As long as I charge it every once in a while, I know it's going to be fit and ready to go. Another thing that I really like is that there's no gel required with this device, which I think is a bigger deal than you might think. The idea of having to apply a layer of gel to my neck every time that I want to use it, I think would add a layer of inconvenience that I think would just throw off my consistency. So I really like that it doesn't need. The build quality of this device also feels quite premium to me. The wire feels sturdy, that it's not going to break or fall apart. And there is a thick form-fitting wire that is part of the tragus earpiece that helps to maintain form so that it stays comfortable as well as secure while you're using it. And the long-lasting battery is nice. I never have to go anywhere worrying about whether the device is going to be dead or need to be charged. And lastly, as a healthcare practitioner and someone who talks regularly with patients about vagus nerve regulation, having this device with such a strong research background is really nice to be able to hang my hat on. Now the things that I didn't like. Of course, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. The first thing is the cord. Everything in my life is cordless. My headphones, my keyboard, my mouse, my streaming services, I have cut the cord across the board. And just having the cord dangle from my ear down the front of my body into the device that I either put in my pocket or place on the desk is an inconvenience. I find myself catching that cord from time to time, and while it's not a huge deal, that is something that I don't like. And my solution to that is that I just let the cord go down through my shirt, underneath my scrubs, and that just kind of keeps it out of the way. Another thing is how much you pay for this device. I feel like the case, the travel case that comes with it, is a bit underwhelming. The last thing that I'll mention in this section is the learning curve when it comes to the intensity. As I mentioned before, I had to get all the way up to level 25 before I really started to feel anything. And so as I was working my way up through those levels, it became a bit disorienting, wondering if the device was faulty or working or not. It resolved relatively quickly once I found out that a level that I could start with. And like I said, I became more sensitized to it. But I think I would have liked to have more guidance on what to expect with my first session. When you read the quick start guide, it does say to work slowly and work your way up 1 level per second until you start to feel it. But knowing that I might have to go higher than expected would have been a nice to know. Now I want to take a minute and just talk about this from my clinical perspective. I work every day with patients that struggle with vagal tone. They present with sleep disturbances, high stress, digestive issues, and other symptoms that are associated with autonomic nervous system imbalances. For years, all that I had to offer these patients with low vagal tone was breathing exercises. That's all that I learned in school and all that I had to offer outside of an invasive surgery. Now don't get me wrong, breathing exercises are great and I've absolutely seen them work, but they fail more often than they succeed, and that's mostly because they're really hard to stick to. They require a level of dedication and concentration that I just feel like a lot of my patients don't have. So what I love about this device is that it's simple, easy to use, easy to commit to, and easy to find a spot to fit it into your routine. It's a passive modality that doesn't take a lot of effort, but has a lot of reward if you can maintain consistency with it. That said, I encourage all of my patients to adopt a more broad approach when it comes to vagus nerve interventions, including proper movement, good sleep habits, good nutrition, and proper stress management techniques. This will create a more holistic approach that I believe will get them the most out of whatever they're investing, whether it's time, effort, or even the investment of the product. And Nuropod is an investment in my opinion. It comes in at about $900, but you get a really high quality product for that price. It is FSA and HSA eligible, so if you have some of those funds lying around, you could leverage those to offset the cost. And it has a 2-year warranty with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have a window to try it out before you fully commit. So yeah, that's my honest take on the Nuropod after trying it myself. More sleep, more energy, and less reliant on my afternoon coffee. I'll drop a link in the description of this video below if you want to check it out yourself. And if you made it this far in the video, consider subscribing or leaving a like. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching Alt Protein. Subscribe for more science-led conversations about health.